Third World Cinema Club.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Third World Cinema Club. I'm John Tawasil from Present Confusion.
Hi, I'm Princess Kinok of Film Police Reviews.
And I'm Engelbert Rafferty of Film Police Reviews. Hello.
Yes, and now, today, we are joined by two very special guests from an upcoming film which is about to debut in the Tokyo International Film Festival. Firstly, the director of Arisaka, Direct Mikael Red.
Hello everyone. Thank you for having me on Third World Cinema Club.
Yeah. And one of the lead actors of the film, Mon Confiado. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much.
Yan. So, of course, Arisaka, syempre, wala pa sa amin nakakapanood. Could you tell us, Direk, a little bit about Arisaka and how did you come up with the concept of the about the film?
Okay, so nag-start siguro yung conceptualization and development mga 2018, 2019. Basically parang ang tagal ko nang gusto bumalik sa parang sa roots ko na mas western thrillers and this time mas survival yung theme. So para siyang closer to my earlier works, closer to something like Birdshot or Neo Manila. Parang going back to my roots lang, revisiting yung ganun type of films. Before Arisaka kasi parang I was working mainly studio financed yung mga movies ko.
Mhm.
Pero as you know, nag-start naman ako sa independent films and local grants. So parang gusto ko lang bumalik doon. And yun, I thought na magiging matagal na process yun, pero maswerte lang ako na na-meet ko yung 1017P and they decided to produce it. So parang matagal na rin siyang idea sa head ko. Parang gusto ko lang gumawa ng in a way, I see it as a very simple story. No? It's a story na parang focusing on halos one character lang and yung parang yung perils and yung tension of parang trying to escape a very dangerous situation without spoiling anything. And then parang siguro may isa pang background layer na may pinaparallel kami na something that happened in our history. So parang may subplot na gano'n. Anyway, na-delay yung production kasi the pandemic happened. Pero after a few months, na-realize ng 1017P na, di ba, nung nag-stop yung productions and we couldn't make films anymore, na-realize na dito sa slate nila of films to produce, Arisaka really fit the type of film that can be made na 2020 na with all the protocols and safety, yung safety conditions and yung restrictions. Kasi, again, it's a simple story, konting characters lang, shot mostly exterior sa wilderness. So parang pasok na pasok siya for 2020 produced film. So parang sobrang swerte ko na even the midst of a pandemic, nakagawa kami ng gantong film with this certain skill and certain craft. Kasi nung time na yun nga, parang yung pinaka-feasible was all Zoom shot films or webcam shot films. Pero yun, nung mid-2020 na nakagawa pa rin kami ng gantong parang survival thriller kasi nagkataon all the elements really fit for that type of product. So yun, parang siguro on an emotional level rin, parang for me, Arisaka is like a release ng pent-up emotions, lalo na naipon ng pandemic. Parang sobrang uncertain ng future ng industry and sobrang anxious ko. At the same time, galit ka kasi nung time bombarded ka ng puro negative news about yung mishandling ng pandemic. So parang inis na inis ako nun. So parang bumalik ako sa theme na yun. Parang abuse of power. And in a way, yung villains dito, yung authorities ulit. So yun, I hope ma-enjoy and ma-engage yung local audience when we finally bring this film home after the festival circuit.
Ayun. Also, Arisaka, if I remember correctly, no, it refers to a kind of gun na ginamit ng World War II. So, doon sa parang synopsis ng film, na nabasa ko, 'di ba it's about this woman wanting to retrace parang what happened during the Bataan Death March, no? So bakit Arisaka mismo yung pinili mong title for the film?
Well, yun, parang you mentioned niya, Arisaka is the name of yung parang standard issue weapon, no, ng mga Japanese soldiers ng World War II. Para lang hindi ma-confuse siguro yung mga potential audience na. I mean, obvious rin naman sa trailer, it's not a period film. May elements lang of parang history. Pero if you look at it, parang it's medyo modern set, pero the character parang goes through the same parang steps taken by yung mga prisoners of war. Parang she has to parang go through that same parang trials and parang challenges and obstacles, and at the same time also surviving captors, pero this time imbis na invaders, imbis na foreign soldiers, it's our own mga police yung kalaban dito. So parang may ganun siyang element. I can't really reveal rin kung ba't yun yung title kasi parang may ano rin, part rin siya ng story. Pero yun, siguro parang spiritual successor rin siya ng Birdshot in a way. Parang meron kaming like rifle trilogy. Ewan ko, parang it's just a at the same time it's a cool sounding title. Isa sa mga philosophies ko rin when thinking of a title ng mga films ko, gusto ko yung mga title na catchy agad. Hindi mo na kailangang i-translate para wala kang more than one title. Kasi, I mean, minsan mahirap yun no? Pag nasa-search, dami lumalabas, ang confusing, may short film na pala na ganun. And then yun, ayoko rin ng sobrang, this is just me, no? Nothing wrong naman with those titles, pero ayoko rin ng sobrang habang title na ang ending na abbreviate lang. And then, I like titles rin na parang ramdam mo agad yung theme, yung premise, 'di ba? Like kunyari lang eerie, 'di ba? Parang it already describes the mood, the tone, or Birdshot, 'di ba? Parang double meaning agad. It's the shotgun and shooting an eagle, compound word. So parang ito Arisaka, syempre may process rin na parang iisip mo talaga ano kayang bagay na title dito. Usually it's one of the last things na I think of after the premise and developing the story. Pero yun, fitting naman. And then yun, parang coincidentally nga nag Tokyo Film Festival. So, baka rin, it
Baka
caught their eye rin. Caught their eye.
Mga find old gun cinematic universe. Mga sige, Ses, you have the next question?
Ay, wait lang. How about kay Sir Mon naman? What was nung in-approach ka ni Direct Miguel with the project, what was your sentiments or feelings towards the role that you had? And can you tell us then, kahit konting snippets of what your role will be here?
Yeah, actually it's on my part it's phenomenal yung pagkakapasok ko sa role na ito. Nung una nga when they sent me the script, tinanong ko sila kung sino yung character ko doon. Kasi siguro mga 7 pulis yun eh. So sabi ni Direk Mick, ikaw yung leader. Ikaw yung parang kumbaga they call him Boss Sunny yung character ko. Pero pulis din siya. So doon pa lang na-excite na ako. Pero prior to that, nagpadala kasi si Direk ng mga pegs. Kumbaga sa bahay pa lang o sa pa lang, through pictures pa lang, parang may look test na ako. So ayun, tugma yung iniisip namin dun sa character, and bago mag-shoot, nag-research na ako ng konti, binasa ko na yung script, memorize ko na yung mga lines, and ayun, pagdating doon, na lang ang mga na-rehearse namin, yung mga fight scenes with Maha Salvador. Sobrang taas ang kamay ko kay Maha pagdating sa kumbaga yung physical niya, grabe. Kasi kumbaga sumasabay siya sa amin eh. Grabe ang ang mga habula namin dito sa pelikulang to.
Ayun. Sige.
Meron pa akong tanong sa kanya, pero later na lang. Yes.
Later na lang. Ayun. So, Direk, how was the casting process for this film? And was Maha Salvador the first choice for the lead role?
Dito, yun yung parang advantage nga dito since very director-driven yung company that produced. Sobrang free ako to choose whoever. And siguro, to be honest, parang syempre sa start, nagbe-brainstorm kami. Like hindi ko kaagad naisip si Maha kasi never ko pa naka-work si Maha, but I've seen her films and ang mas iniisip ko lang muna yung role, like who can pull this off na walang arte, someone who can look good with firearms na parang convincing na may police training and syempre exterior outdoor wilderness, walang glam to, very physical, very brutal. So yun, syempre we went through parang several candidates pero no auditions, parang more on brainstorming lang. And eventually parang na-realize ko nga parang perfect si Maha dito, parang she has that yung physicality, the fact na dancer siya, and ang athletic niya, and may mga scenes rin siya naman before from mga TV shows na police yung character niya. May mga stunts siya. I think nung time na nag-meet pa lang kami for parang look test and development and pre-prod, parang lagi niya may pinapakita niya sa phone niya meron siyang stunt, I forgot what show, pero lagi niya pinagmamalaki. Nakasabit siya sa helicopter. Lagi niya pinapakita sa amin yan. So parang doon pa lang, okay, convinced na ako. So solid naman, and yun, sakto rin, like walang arte, like talagang one of the boys rin siya, diba? Kasi dito sa film parang puro male police characters na hinahunt down siya sa gubat, hinahabol siya sa gubat, tapos puro putek, puro terrain, pati yung weather, di ba, binabagyo kami doon, ginamit rin namin yung rain. Maraming scenes na wala sa script yung rain, pero parang walang choice, syempre sayang budget kung i-pack up. So ginamit namin yung environment. Ang hirap lang sa continuity kasi sa story, a few days lang nangyari yung story. So dapat, even though sinushoot mo in several days, sa kwento, nangyari lang siya in, kunyari, 15 minutes. Ganun, so hirap. Pero yun, because madali yung ka-work yung mga actors, perfect naman. And syempre si Mon naman, kasi tagal ko nang gusto kunin si Mon. Trivia lang, like I even approached him for Recorder, my very first film. Tagal ko na syempre napapanood si Mon, and kakilala rin ng dad ko nung Manila Skies, yung papawid, nagbe-behind the scenes pa ako noon, teenager pa ako, budding filmmaker, and napapanood ko sila sa set. So halos lahat sila dun sa film na yun eventually kinast ko, di ba? Si John Arcilla na nasa Himpapawid rin, trinay ko kunin for Birdshot, and syempre si Mon, matagal ko nang gusto ko work. Hindi lang nagtugma, I think nung Cinemalaya parang may isa pa siyang film, so hindi swak sa sked, and police rin yung character niya sa Recorder. So finally, syempre after several projects, eto nag-swak talaga, and yan, yung in-approach ko si Mon, hindi namin ni-regret. Talagang swak siya sa role, and same as Maha, yung game na game. Lalo na ito, I'm sure na feel mo rin man, no? Yung style ko na ma-coverage ako eh. Diba? May yung language namin sometimes very Western, very genre. So maraming shots, maraming very technical na parang, pag sinabi mo yung line na to, dadaliin kami. Alam mo yun, yung hindi siya just do your thing. I'm sure a lot of actors appreciate yung style yun. And parang, sige, go ahead. Ito yung frame mo, do your thing. Honestly, ako hindi ako ganun. Na, sinabi ko naman beforehand na mas may mga precise moments to na pag hinugot mo yung knife, hanggang dito lang. Tapos, syempre, papasok yung camera dyan. Dapat sakto yung focus. Yung mga ganun. Plus, yung yung emotional beats na kailangan nila i-hit. So, na-imagine ko gaano ka-challenging yun. And yung gusto ko rin sa actors ko, very aware sila of their own continuity. So kung alam nilang medyo na mali na yung buhok, hanap silang paraan to adjust it mid-fight or something. So cool na cool sila. And thank you man dun sa mga action scenes. Minsan after the scene, parang di na ako sure, ano dito yung prosthetic, ano dito yung totoong sugat. Pero thank you so much.
Thank you, Direk.
Ang authentic tuloy, tingnan nyo. Alam ni man yan kahit sa mga playback, tawa ng tawa sa solid kasi yung mga suntok.
Even si
sobrang,
Maha, Direk, grabe, di ba?
Game na game sila.
Tamaan, i-share ko lang, grabe, yung after nung shoot natin, nagulat ako. Yung pose ni Maha, may mga, ano,
Neck brace.
Sa lumpot ba yun? Neck brace ba yun?
Pero ano naman like safe kami, like we observe all this, make stunt coordinators and safety officers. More on ano lang, minsan syempre, di mo maiwasan na nasa-strain talaga several takes or napapaos sila sa sigawan. Pero yeah, I mean at the end of the day, parang nabigay nila yung kailangan ng scene. So, ang cool lang, ang sarap ka-work ng mga ganun na actor. 'Di ba? You get the moment or the scene that you want, and very tactical sila, and at the same time and pull off nila yung emotional parts with.
Yeah, thank you rin, Direk. Grabe din yung experience Iba, as you've said, iba yung ano talaga yung kumbaga yung sistema at saka yung approach mo to direct us. Marami rin akong natutunan at grabe yung experience. Ang galing talaga nung team, yung buong team from everyone to the actors, sobrang perfect. Kahit na binabagyo tayo, ilang bagyo ba inabot natin doon?
Tatlo, grabe. Tapos on time tayo. That's one thing rin na I always make sure, I mean coming from very shoestring budgets na parang na-value ko yung syempre resources, yung pera, yung oras, lalo na kung hindi mo pera yon, di ba? Parang kung finance siya, whether grant yan. We always make it on time, no? Parang walang extra day swak tayo sa pinag-usapan. Diba? We don't overshoot or overskip. So, I mean, di lang sa director yun. Ang laking tulong ng efficiency ng crew and yung cast na, they don't make things hard. So, yan, thank you dun, Mon.
Yeah, thank you din, Direk.
Saka it also goes na pagka you work with really efficient actors and people on set, diba? I think
Professionals.
factor.
Nice lang.
May tatanong pa ako. I think
Sige, process.
To expound lang din dun sa number 2. Kasi for example, si Direk, laging female-led yung films mo. So bilang somehow
Yeah.
may female siya, protagonist siya. So paano mo bilang babae, parang pag pinapanood ko siya, parang na-amaze ako na wala siyang bahid ng konting sexism. Parang hindi mo pwedeng pasukin na, pinasok si Mary Joy dyan kasi cute siya or maganda siya. Parang makakalimutan mo siya na gano'n. So, during the writing process, let's say with Arisaka and with your films then like Birdshot, and kahit sa Dead Kids, I guess. Pwede ko na rin isingit sa Dead Kids kasi kahit doon yung mga female characters doon, they have their own kind of personalities. Ayun. Do you get that kind of advice from females in your life, or how can you share with us that kind of concept in terms of writing your films?
Honestly, parang later on ko na rin yun parang na-try with my films. If you look at my very early short films or even Recorder, I try to stay true to my own personality. Diba? Very introverted ako. Konti lang dialogue actually ng mga first short films ko. Yung unang short film ko, experimental. Tapos laging lone character na minsan walang name, di ba? Very nomadic. Tapos gets into trouble with authorities, di ba? Subconscious fear ko. Siguro yun yung parang nabivilify ka or na-abuse ka ng mga higher power. So parang nag-stick ako doon, and then eventually coming into Birdshot, parang gusto ko rin parang mahilig ako na parang i-diversify rin yung films ko and try other things and add characters. So with Birdshot, dahil alam ko may element of parang innocence and yung female lead, Mary Joy, kumuha akong co-writer, yung cousin ko si Ray, para, di ba, dalawa kami nagsusulat. Hinalo ko ng parang police procedural pero may coming of age POV ng girl. So, yun, nakakatulong na usually may female co-writer. Even sa Eerie, di ba, yung mga writers ng Eerie, mga girls talaga na nag-grow up rin sa parang Catholic school run by nuns. So, parang yung experience nila doon na nalagay talaga nila. Neo Manila, co-writer ko rin si Ray. To be parang honest, itong Arisaka yung first time na parang may female character ko na ang writer dito si Anton Santa Maria, yung sulat rin for By Bust, ganun. Pero kasi na-decide ko naman with Arisaka, parang that's how I see the character ni Maha dito parang hindi nag-matter yung gender niya. Talagang she's a survivor, no? Siya dito yung parang morally ambiguous pa rin and conflicted na cop, pero meron siyang dalang parang information and conviction, and parang yun yung ginagamit niya to find that will to survive against all odds, no? So parang in the whole story nga, ang konti ng dialogue niya rin. Kasi mag-isa lang siya sa forest, and every time ma-encounter niya, syempre yung mga humahabol sa kanya, barilan agad yun. Diba? So no time to talk. So parang, di ba, very parang survival western din yung film. Nomadic character, very parang minimal yung mga introductions or full names. Diba? Talagang shootout agad, settle with violence. And mas yung emotional journey niya is mas yung parang may mga may backstory na konti na mas memory lang, and yung struggle niya trying to get to safety. So parang in that sense, parang na-decide ko mas kinailangan ko yung genre beats and yung story structure doon. Pero I think kaya naman na without a female co-writer this time, kasi parang mas hindi nag-play ng role yun. Pero yeah, I mean, ginagawa ko naman lagi kung may female character, syempre kailangan rin ng balance yung story, or minsan yun, I mean with Eerie and Dead Kids, parang syempre necessary naman talaga. But yeah, ako inaamin ko na I need the help of another writer. I need the help of a female writer, or sometimes a female producer. Most actually, now that I think about it, most ng team ko mga babae na matagal ko na rin creative partners, mga producers ko, iba-iba producer per film. From Eerie, si Micah, sa Birdshot, sina Pam, and then even Neo Manila, sina Sarah and Cara. So parang meron lang akong creative partners lagi na female. So syempre, alam rin ni Mon yan, I'm the type of filmmaker na hindi didactic, no? Lagi nga ako humihingi ng input everyone. Yung talagang gaganon ka sa chair mo. AD ka babae lagi. Di ba? Ito kahit action pa si Ali. Younger than me yun.
Yeah.
Pero very high energy female AD. I always ask their opinion. Ako yung type na parang, what do you think? Realistic ba to? Or gagawin niya ba to? Ganun ako even sa actors. Laging collaboration ang mga gawa ko. So yun, I always consult. And pero syempre, at the end of the day, vision mo yun. So you decide. Pero I like to hear them out. So yun, pagdating sa female perspective, I make sure para authentic. May totoong female voice rin behind the scenes.
Yeah. Rafi, ikaw, do you have any questions for Mon or Direk?
Yes. I'll start with Sir Mon. So, Sir Mon, knowing that there's like this reputation that you have sa lahat ng tao, sa masa, na parang kang chameleon ng Philippine cinema, in the sense na sa halos lahat ng pelikula or sa halos lahat ng teleserye, it's either nandyan ka or you exist, tapos meron kang role for some reason. So what I wanna know is, paano yung naging journey mo as an actor, and with Arisaka coming into the forefront, ano yung parang mas na-challenge ka pang gawin as an actor, I would say, in the sense that you know that in the past works that you've had, hindi mo pa siya nagagawa ever. Na-try mo lang siya for the first time with Mick being the director.
I started kasi from nothing. Yung starting ko kasi wala eh, as in hindi naman siya beat player or talent or extra. I started with Direk Peke Galiaga. Ano pa yan? Shake, Rattle and Roll Part 4 pa noon. Tapos sunod-sunod yan, Dugo ng Panday, nagtuloy-tuloy yon, tapos naghiwa-hiwalay yung grupo nila and lahat naging director, Jerry Sineneng, Lori Reyes, Don Escudero, naging ka-vibes ko sila. So every time nagkakaroon sila ng film, may role ako. Marami akong ginawang mga pelikula kay Direk Joey Reyes, siguro mga 40 films ang nagawa ko sa kanya noon. And every time na may ilo-launch ang Regal sa mga coming of age na pelikula ni Direk Joey, ako lagi yung rapist. So medyo na-typecast ako doon sa mga rape scenes. Tapos tumuloy na rin ako sa lumalaki noon ang TF noon titillating film. After ng ST, naging titillating film. Lagi akong kontrabida sa mga pelikula ni Rosana Roses, nila Priscilla Almeda. So, ayun, tuloy-tuloy hanggang sa nung una, hindi naman ako nag-acting school, lahat yan through experience lang at saka sa sarili ko lang. Kahit itong mga ginagawa kong mga method acting, na-develop na lang at na-inspired din ako of course sa mga Hollywood actors na method actors. Medyo sineryoso ko na siya. So every time may role, mas kumbaga minsan nga cameo lang. Humihingi ako ng isang buong script, binabasa ko yung isang buong script kahit sobrang kapal. One sequence lang naman ako doon sa buong pelikula. Parang naging gano'n na yung sistema ko. Kumbaga parang naging ano ko na siya naging yun nga sistema, naging actually parang naging asawa ko na yung sistema na yon. Parang hindi ako mapakali pag hindi ko alam yung buong kwento ng pelikula. So at least alam ko yung atake na gagawin ko. And from there, of course, nagkaroon ako ng mga breaks, nag-lead ako sa ilang mga indie films, at nabigyan ako ng mga breaks sa mga nagme-main villain ako. At isa na nga dito yung Arisaka na sobrang talagang honored ako, overwhelmed kasi kumbaga Mikhail Red di ba? Parang alam nating lahat na nag-aano yan kumbaga siya yung international director ng Pilipinas nakaka-penetrate na siya even sa Hollywood. So sobrang excited ako nung nalaman ko na part ako ng Arisaka, tapos Maha Salvador pa. Kaya although marami na akong mga roles na nalabasan na pulis, marami na rin ako mga training na pinagdaanan yun sa mga military, mga police training. So wala na ako masyadong problema sa kumbaga sa galaw, movements o barilan. Ang magiging problema ko na lang, tama si Direk kanina, yung style niya. Kasi syempre iba-iba yung mga naging director ko, iba-iba rin sila ng style. So dapat ma-adapt ko yung style ng director ko para dun sa pelikulang yun tama si Direk kumbaga dinumero. Dapat pagdating sa line na to, lilingon ka doon So confusing. So pero through his guidance, tuwan-tuwa nga ako kasi sabi ko kay Direk, i-direct mo ako kasi please, kasi minsan hindi ko naman alam kahit na ilang beses ko nang nagawa itong mga pulis-pulis na to. Syempre, mas kilala mo yung karakter na kinreate nyo i-execute ko lang. So, kailangan ko ng guidance. At perfect kasi sobrang feeling ko ang galing-galing ko sa pelikulang to because of Direk Mikhail. Iba talaga yung pagka-atake nung nung character. Ibang klaseng villain.
Na-appreciate ko rin, Mon, na parang na-notice kasi as an actor, gusto mo rin lagi na yung physicality mo, change mo. Yeah, I mean, sabi mo nga, parang part ng method acting na para mas na-vibe mo yung character. No? So for this film, actually, may prosthetic, scars na kailangan i-retouch yun. Every shot, every take,
Tama.
init, umuulan, fight scene, pero may prosthetic siya sa mga and pati haircut. And dito nga,
Yes.
kwenta mo, no, na nagsisigar ka. Pero in real life, hindi, no? So,
Yeah.
part yun
In real life kasi, hindi ako naninigarilyo. Hindi ako talaga, although marami akong mga roles na naninigarilyo, pero ito cigar. Kumbaga,
Cigar.
tobacco. The first time ko nagtobacco, actually, halos pag wala akong ginagawa, ganun ako na ganun. Pero iba pala yun, hititbuga lang pala yun, hindi pala yun ini-inhale. So, inaral ko pa sa YouTube kung paano magtabako. Tapos sabi ko kay Direk, ano kaya yung magandang look kasi gusto kong umalis doon sa General Emilio Aguinaldo na flat tops. So, inahit ko yung hairline ko, tapos parang medyo, sabi ni Direk, brush up mo na lang na gano'n, na parang naka-gel na So, mas yung karakter. Yung mga gano'n, tapos tinotono ni Direk yung atake ko. Minsan kasi may times na mataas, ipapababa niya, o kailangan naman dun sa time na yon sa eksenang yon medyo mas mataas. So importante na nade-direct nung director yung aktor o yung artista. Napaka swerte o napaka grateful ko na napasama ako dito sa Arisaka with Maha Salvador, tapos ang producer namin si Direk Paul Soriano, at syempre si Direk Mikhail na sobrang galing actually.
Grabe. Pero thank you, Mon. Finally. Sobrang gets na namin. Parang kaya pala sobrang in demand. Sobrang strap cover.
Nakakatuwa. Ang grabe, saludo ako kay Sir Mon kasi lagi ko siyang nakikita sa lahat ng pelikula talaga kaya sobrang natutuwa ako. So thank you for that, Sir Mon.
Very humble pa. Very humble.
True. And then tapos dahil may ungkatang kasaysayan, ikaw naman, Mick, kasi we all know that you came from a family of filmmakers. And yung unang-unang pelikula mo, coincidentally, was also in Cinemalaya. Tulad nga po na sinabi niyo, which is yung Recorder. Tell us more about the evolution of filmmaking that you've had over the past years, starting from Recorder, and then you ventured eventually into blockbuster filmmaking like Eerie, Dead Kids, and Block Z, for example, all the way to the present moment. Like, what's your personal stamp as a director? As Mikael Red, how would you say that you are a director, and how does it come across in the films that you make?
So, parang feeling ko yung pinaka core theme or yung similar sa lahat ng films ko, it's always yung may moral ambiguity. It's always likable criminals and corrupt cops, and it's always siguro parang anxiety ko yun or subconscious fear ko yun. And it's always, even though on the surface, parang yung entertaining layer niya that helps me parang, turn it into a vehicle, parang reach a wide audience, laging may parang genre elements sa surface. I think that's the part na galing siya sa mga inspiration ko. The things that excite me as a filmmaker, the things na I want to learn as a filmmaker. Kaya every new project, sinisigurado ko, this project I try a new genre or I try a new treatment or technique. Kasi parang ginagawa ko siyang film school rin eh. Honestly, wala akong formal training, wala akong film school degree or anything. Nag-workshops lang ako. So parang ginagamit ko siya as the opportunity to parang build my skill set, and diversify what I can do as a filmmaker, try new stuff. Pero that's the surface layer. Pero I think yung parang core niya is always parang more on what I fear or what disturbs me. Parang it's always triggered by a news event na nabasa ko or parang 'di ba parang minsan collage siya of things na you see in the news or things in our present society that you feel like you need to parang comment on. And then parang the combination of the two is what makes it, well, I feel like new. And siguro yun yung nakikita ng mga producers dito and yung audience dito. Parang na it reaches a broad audience but at the same time at its core it's still like a Filipino story. And maybe that's what festivals also see. Parang I'm lucky na yung mga films na nagagawa namin, it's the type of film that goes to genre festivals and art house festivals at the same time. No? Pero yun, siguro if I need to discuss yung parang progression ko, like I said, parang I started out as a film fan. So parang a lot of things I do is for me to, suffering kasi yung process ng filmmaking. Sobrang hirap gumawa ng film. Eventually, if hindi ka talaga genuine about it, you're going to give up at some point in the project, whether sa writer's block mo palang titigil ka na, or sa financing ang hirap titigil ka na, or sa shoot give up ka na, or maybe even distribution, okay na yan. Parang premiere mo na lang, tas itago mo na yung film after the premiere. Parang you don't even try to distribute it anymore. Parang at many stages, you're going to give up. Pero siguro it's that passion and excitement in me na I keep going. Parang starting with short films na no one asked for, na nag-Cinemalaya rin yung mga Harang, Hazard, and then eventually Recorder. Tapos, I like trying new things, not just on the surface level, like I said, na treatment and technique. Also, distribution and financing. Parang, I want to explore that side rin. So, I tried local grants. Birdshot, I tried international co-production grants na mas competitive yun eh. Yung pitching and winning soft money. Try ko Q Cinema to see, parang compare rin Q Cinema and Cinemalaya, iba yung deal structure nun. I tried co-production with studio and international grant like Irina, Singapore, Bifan, and Star Cinema na never before done. Diba? It's like a Star Cinema film pero hindi mega mall yung premiere. Parang yun yung tinatry namin gawin. Ano mangyayari kung lagyan natin ng international leverage to para medyo even though horror siya na mainstream and A-list actors, lagyan natin ng layer na mas bleak, no? R13, may suicide themes. And dahil may international leverage kami, medyo nasa sway namin yun. No? So parang unique rin yun, yung nangyari sa Eerie. Dead Kids naman is more straight streaming, like a Netflix original, iba rin yung structure nun. So parang yung mga things na ganun, I feel very grateful na na-experience ko. Parang napaka-diverse ng napagdaanan ko as a filmmaker. I get to see all sides of it and parang really parang understand it also as an industry. Pero yun, with Arisaka, I feel like I'm coming back muna dito sa parang Birdshot Neo Manila na very director-driven kasi yung partners ko dito na they really just let me do what I wanted to do. Konting restrictions, parang even though ako consciously, I always want distribution, parang they said na don't think about it, parang just do what you want muna and then maybe later on parang other films pwedeng a bit more commercial or a bit more parang minsan ganun parang one for you, one for me minsan. Pero here yun, hinayaan ako. So yun, ang exciting lang na I get to do my favorite genre which is parang western thriller. So yun, siguro yun yung mindset ko. I'm always parang hungry to learn more in all aspects, no, in the craft, in the industry and in story. So lahat yun tinatry ko, lahat yun. So maybe I'm not sure, mahirap na tanong yan like have you found your voice? Parang ako it's more of a journey for me na parang you find it throughout that journey instead of dapat alam mo na voice mo bago ka mag-shoot. Yung problem kasi nun, it intimidates a lot of young filmmakers na sobrang risk averse mo na gusto mo short mo perfect. So parang you stop there. Parang hindi na lang ako gagawa. Alam mo yun? Ako yung type na wala, audience ko yung classmates ko. Tapos tara, ketchup yung dugo. Gawa tayo zombie film high school. I think yun yung nakaka-push sa akin. Kaya parang I don't stop. Parang I have fun with it. Kasi honestly, if you're not having fun, wala ka na ibang incentive to do this. To do this type of work, no? Lalo na in a third world country, ang hirap gawin sustainable. Usually, you should be doing other stuff para ma-sustain mo sarili mo financially. Pero yun, I'm one of the lucky few na I get to make films. Pero yun, you always just be conscious lang of parang yung plan mo for the film para you can, for me kasi one of the best rewards as a filmmaker is if your film greenlights your next film. Kasi diba, we want to keep making films, we want to keep telling stories and keep growing as a filmmaker. So, yun, parang right now yun yung mindset ko. Yun, parang just have fun with the process. Don't lose that. Parang don't, always remember why you started. Parang yun yung lagi kong sinasabi sa sarili ko. So it never mattered if 500,000 pesos Cinemalaya grant or X number of days or X number of cameras. Kahit bigyan mo ng cellphone, feeling ko shoot akong found footage horror kung wala na akong choice. Yung ganun kasi mangangati talaga ako. So gumawa ng film lagi.
Okay. I guess slightly related to that question then. And this is a question for both Sermon and Direct Nick. Given still COVID pa rin ngayon, and although cinemas are reopening slowly, there's still there's still a reluctance to go back. So your thoughts on parang the rise of streaming platforms and in the future of theatrical releases, I guess for both of you, ano yung feel yung mangyayari in the future for both of you?
Siguro yung, kanyari ngayon, you guys mostly did talking shoots, pero you also perhaps did like yung meetings nyo in this kind of environment.
Baka
Kaya
ganito lang.
kanina may mga pumapasok, may
Ayo.
mga tumatahol.
Nagsasampay, ganyan.
May nagsasampay sa likod. So yun.
Yeah.
Sige, Simon muna. Like, as an actor, parang itong buong online environment, kamusta yung adjustment? I think yung first reading natin, Zoom lang, di ba? Tama ba? Yung
Yes,
tayo as
correct.
cast,
I remember.
diba? So, ano feeling?
Yeah, no, although nung sinut natin yung Arisaka, marami na akong mga nagawa na projects under pandemic. Pero tama, direct, nung naalala ko nung first reading natin online din, medyo nahihirapan tayo kasi may delay. May delay, tapos yung iba nawawala ng signal, humihina. So, hindi natin makuha yung tamang momentum. So, hindi mo kami doon pa lang medyo nahirapan na hindi maibigay yung ano. Pero nagulat ako nung look test natin. Of course, may swab test bago ka pumasok. so ano din maraming mga kumbaga natutunan o nakakabuti at marami ring hassle. Katulad nga niya mga swab test na yan. Syempre dagdag gastos yan sa producers natin.
Laking chunk nun.
Sobra. Dahil ilan tayo, ilan ang crew, ilan ang ang involved na tao. Tapos halos every week yun, direct di ba? Every week may tayo o parang pa nga. Minsan nagta-twice a week pa.
Very safe yung protocols, yung mindset ng producers namin. Kasi
pero yung kagandahan naman sa side ng actors, umikli yung working hours. Medyo nasunod kahit papano yung kumbaga hindi sagad na sagad dati kasi parang nasanay na ako. Pag pumupull out ako ng 5 a.m. talagang ang uwi ko the next day, ganun din So, medyo nanibago din ako dito sa pandemic na kahit papano, parang naisip ko pa lang yun na relax na ako. So, sabi ko, okay, hindi naman kami umagahin, so tamang-tama lang. Kumbaga, nabibigay mo as an actor din yung performance na kailangan para doon. Minsan kasi gaya nung old natin, style natin, talagang pigang-piga na, antok. Parang pinipilit na lang gumalaw pero actually tulog na yung artista.
Naka-tape
So
na
ang
yung dito.
oo, tapos
Although ang
natu-
dami natin downtime, no? Because of, yun nga, dahil 12 hours. So nakaka-bond tayo, nakaka-usap pa tayo. Parang
yes.
extra meetings and parang
Yes, may time
development
pa tayo
report.
mag-coffee, may time pa mag-dinner together at pag-usapan yung ginawa natin nung araw na yon. So, ano rin, may mga magagandang nangyari din. Tsaka I guess nadisiplina pa rin. Nadisiplina yung mga workers, yung mga kasamahan natin sa industriya. So, mas on time na talaga ngayon dahil napaka-importante ng oras. So far, wala pa naman akong nakakatrabahong mga co-actors na nalilate. So parang napansin ko lahat mas na ngayon, mas on time. Dahil bina-value din nila yung oras kasi nga very limited.
Tsaka lock-in kasi. So, no choice.
Kaya hindi nalilate.
Sama-sama
nandun na sa
tayo.
location.
Kasi may quarantine bubble.
Tama. Pero syempre nakakatakot din dahil nababalitaan naman natin, marami tayong mga kasamahan na nagkakaroon ng COVID, yung iba nga namamatay pa. So ang hirap pa rin eh. Tapos 'di ba, naka-mask tayo, tinatanggal lang natin pag mag-take. May mga hindrances kahit papaano.
Hindi ko na sabihin sino tsaka anong scene, pero may mga scene kami na may binura kaming mga mask. Yun yung challenge ngayon, no? Kasi, nangyayari siya madalas. Nangyayari siya, I'm sure kahit sa TV, di mo nababantayan lahat ng extra, di ba? Kasi lahat naka-mask, tapos sisigaw na lang yung AD before rolling, na take off your mask. So, minsan, nabababa lang. Nakakalimutan. Pero, okay naman yung end result. So, challenging with all the masks and face shield, lalo for the cam operators.
Sa side mo naman, Direk, tsaka in terms na rin of siguro distribution and dealing with streaming companies para maipalabas yung work mo, parang how was it different compared to when pre-COVID, when walang mga ganun?
Honestly, like pre-COVID, napakahirap na ng ginagawa namin. The fact na, lalo na these kinds of films, you have to understand na it relies on so many departments. No? You have your stunt department, your rain effects, special effects department, si Kuya Dick with all his armory and firearms and squibs and blood, and every time you do a take, i-reset mo yun. It eats another 40 minutes na re-reset mo lahat yun. So parang immediately at a disadvantage kami, no, trying to make films like this na cost-wise ang taas, headcount mataas, and then yung rating mo hindi pa G or PG. So parang naiintindihan niya, di ba? Like from a producer's perspective or from a financial perspective, parang you understand kung bakit dominant talaga syempre mga drama and romantic comedies. Kasi, well, first of all, doon naman talaga nag-resonate yung local audience, and very cost efficient siya, di ba? Buong family pwede manood, easier and amount. So parang even before the pandemic, napakahirap to get stuff like this greenlit. No? So parang yung ever since na-decide ko na mas parang ito yung niche ko, ito yung gusto kong gawin, talagang naging part ng strategy namin. Kailangan mo ng international counterpart. Parang kailangan mo siyang i-buffer with an audience outside to justify a proper budget para fair ka, di ba, to everyone. You pay everyone right. You shoot it at the correct number of days, hindi yung sagad kayong 24 hours, bugbog lahat. Di ba? Parang pag gantong type of film, hindi mo pwede i-author kasi a lot of elements, rin yun skill set yun ng department na yun, di ba? Ng production design to make it convincing, stunts and all that. So parang you need the proper money. So pre-COVID, ang hirap na. And then COVID happened. So ngayon, 12 hours a day na lang. Mas risk-averse mga tao mag-produce kasi syempre walang distribution and pre-COVID. So binawasan na nga yung days, nahati pa yung hours ko. I mean, yung kwento ni Mon, syempre yun yung positive side na na-enjoy ko rin ng convenient ng 12 hours. Pero ngayon, yun yung downside na you're doing the same type of films na you struggled to create and produce and get greenlit before. And then ngayon, doble yung hirap. Lalo na nung time na yun, di ba? Panahon yun ng puro webcam films. Kasi hindi pa parang sanay yung mga tao sa new protocols. So parang at that time, yun yung pinaka-feasible, di ba, to do. And kami, we were trying to do thriller, di ba? So, ang hirap, ang challenging, and then now you're faced pa with how do you recoup all that, no? Parang at this point, yung best option mo talaga is streaming and international streaming. Kasi nga, honestly, if you try to do pay-per-view dito, day one pa lang, mapapirate ka na eh. So, hindi ka kikita kung pay-per-view. Diba? Kailangan subscription service na binabuy out yung film mo on top of its budget. Parang that's the only way to sustain it and parang justify why it's being made, diba? Para kumita. So yun, I mean, maswerte lang kami na we have a relationship na with streaming sites and even 1070p. I think they also have a Netflix original rin, diba? Yung, diba parang may film rin si Tony with them na original. So yun, we're very lucky na before the pandemic struck, may contact na kami. So it's still not a guarantee. Siyempre, they still have to see your film and negotiate. Pero it makes it easier and at least may reason cut na maybe when you pitch to another producer, financier, you can always use that na parang, I know a way how to, get this investment back. We can go through this channel and these people para maka-stream tayo. So right now parang ganun kasi honestly nung panahon na may theaters na like something like Block Z, nga yun nasa edge na nung pandemic, mga February nagsa-start na, nakamask na yung mga tao. Nag 200 cinemas kami and it still didn't do as good as Erie. Erie 210 cinemas rin. Kumita naman Erie, diba? Parang okay naman siya pero rare yun 'di ba? Yung business model ng mga studios dati, you'll produce 10 films na knowing 8 will flop and then 2 will generate 100M. So bawi yung 8 or ganun 'di ba? Or yung MMFF film mo, alam mo na horror is always the third place and then you have the 2 parang top parang love team and then yung 1 yung vice ganda. So parang may formula, 'di ba? Like may structure, may estimates and all that. So naka-calculate na yun. And then nung nag-stop yung MMFF, nawala yung theaters, mas unpredictable na lalo ngayon. So parang honestly, ang challenging right now, kinakapa pa rin namin. Yes, babalik yung theaters, pero 'di ba, may certain limit lang ng audience, number of audience na pwede. And syempre, may stigma pa and it will take a while before people start to adapt and go back to cinemas. And alam niyo naman yung average movie-going audience and yung middle class natin, baka hindi pa rin strong enough to justify 20 shooting day budgets. That's why siguro nakikita niyo with stuff like Viva Max na sila very active ngayon. Parang na-hit nila yung formula na parang ito yung certain balance of budget to eyeball ratio. And yun, honestly, it's 7 days, diba? Which happened before kahit nung 90s, diba? Parang nakikita mo na yun na ba yung median natin na yung population ba natin in middle class hindi as big as Indonesia na kaya mag-sustain ng 30-day shoot na film. Di ba? Parang yun lang yung pumapasok na pera talaga. Yun, wala akong answer doon. Parang it looks that way for now. Sana, you need to grow your economy. We have bigger problems to solve. Hindi lang film. Parang unahin muna natin yun. Or, if wala nga kayong strong enough paying audience dito, yun yung ginagawa namin na parang merong kang portion of it na outside na medyo mas broad yung target mo, 'di ba? Medyo mas universal yung kwento. Kaya Erie Asian release yun may mga theatrical kami outside of the country kahit Neo Manila theatrical sa Japan. Yun yung advantage ng Tokyo Film Fest. Usually bibilin ka ng Japanese distributor after. Diba? And then they do their own promo. With Netflix, they also do your promo for you. Diba? They make their posters and trailers and art cards sila gumagawa. So, ang laking bawas dun sa cost. Diba?
Cost,
Kasi without a mainstream studio, wala kang free TV advertising. Kung wala kang free TV advertising or guesting sa mga Showtime and talk show dati, no one will know about your film, diba? Kahit very commercial pa yung film na yan. So yun yung challenge, and wala akong answer. It's more of like kumakapa kami trying to find a way to parang keep sustaining this. And I understand, no? Like ikaw, let's say luxury ng manood ng movie, if you think about it, if you can only afford 3 films a year, syempre gusto mo isang Pixar, isang Marvel, and then siguro isang MMFF. Paano ka, if a filmmaker makes a film, di ba? Parang ang goal mo, paano makapasok sa top 3 nila? Di ba? Ang hirap. So we're learning as we go and we're finding this. Pero ako right now, yun yung best way to look at it for me. Parang may international buffer ka para to make it sustainable.
Yeah, parang cultivate like a separate audience then. Parang,
pero parang with those films, I'm not saying target lang yung mga audience abroad or parang for their taste. Dahil half-half siya. Diba? May nadadamay rin ng Filipino audience pero a portion of it you make outside. Sa kagawa mo ng ganun, nag-grow yung local share. Kasi nasasanay sila sa ganun na quality. Eventually, lalaki yun. Hopefully, they start paying for...
I agree. Parang ang laki nung may market ng Netflix na subscription is the best way. I mean, for example, ako, I used to work for a streaming platform.
Yeah.
Tapos kahit anong gawin kong market talaga sa films, basta parang may mako-compare sila na si ganito, mas mura, ganun.
Accessible.
Parang ganun na yung, ganun na yung
although, even with Netflix, diba, they're before... I think hanggang ngayon they're in debt. Parang they need to keep loaning para to produce, para to sustain.
More content.
Pero ang hirap malulunod sila. So
parang sustainable siya in the long run Yun din
they have to build the subscriber base mo. And then ngayon, as you know, next year papasok na lahat. I think tina-target na talaga Southeast Asia. So I think papasok yung mga Disney Plus, Amazon. So that might change things. That might change yung environment kasi when they start tapping producers and filmmakers here for their channels na mag-originals rin. Yun, baka opportunity yun for a lot of Filipino filmmakers. So we'll see how that changes things.
All right. Ces and Rafi, do you have any last questions before we wrap this up?
Mga nahihiya yung mga nagko-comment sa live stream. So, nagme-message sila sa akin. Ayun. So, ang majority ng questions actually is for the sermon. So, syempre yun nga. Similar siya sa tanong ni Rafi. Na ayun nga, parang lahat sila, ayan yung sa ganitong pelikula, gano'n. So, lahat sila, they're very interested to know paano mo daw na-nurture yung career mo. So, I think similar siya sa tanong kay Direk Nick na yun, paano siya nasa-sustain as a filmmaker. Sa'yo naman, as an actor, although mukhang marami kang pwedeng makuhang projects. Pero, like, yung journey mo, could you share it with us na parang, at some point in the pandemic, parang napagod ka ba? Nagbinusto mo ito, isa pa to question sa message. So, isasama ko lang siya as a one question. Na parang, how do you sustain your career bilang isa sa most recognized actor in the country?
Yung style ko kasi, wala akong masyadong, kumbaga, inaambisyon Although, syempre, very thankful ako kung nakakakuha ako ng malaking role at mas challenging yon. Pero, kumbaga, kahit hindi siya challenging, ginagawa ko siyang challenging. Sabi ko nga, minsan, one sequence lang ako dun sa pelikula, pero pag binasa ko yung buong script, may excite na ako, tapos mag-iisip na ako ano kayang karakter o anong atake gagawin ko dito. So, dun pa lang, kumbaga, nakagawa na ako ng mahigit 300 films. Pero hanggang ngayon, pag meron akong project, hindi ako makatulog pag may shooting kinabukasan kasi sobrang excited ako. Tapos, bago mag-shooting, hindi na ako mapakali. Kumbaga, parang pinaghahandaan ko na siya. Hanggat maaari nga, drop script na ako pagdating ng shooting. Kaya lang, minsan kasi yung style natin sa Filipino films, madaling araw na dumadating yung script. Minsan nga sa set na lalo na yung mga tapings. So, on the spot talaga yung memorization. Pero training din yun na parang nasanay ako sa mga ganon. So yung mga biglaan dahil kailangan may deliver mo kaagad, take na. So nasanay ako. Ang tingin ko yung passion yung pagka-passionate ko at saka yung pagmamahal ko sa ginagawa ko. Yun yung yun yung nagpapatagal kasi kung hindi mo gusto talaga at hindi mo mahal tong ginagawa mo lalo na dito sa style natin, especially yung pinagdaanan ko as an actor, baka nag-quit ka na kasi marami akong mga pelikulang minsan hindi ako nagpapabayad kasi gusto ko siyang gawin. Marami akong mga pelikulang maganda naman yung role ko pero hindi ako kine-credit o kaya parang hindi ako kasali dun sa pelikula. Pero dahil mahal ko siya, hindi ko yun nakikita. Hindi yun ang hindi yun ang goal ko. Kahit yung mga awards, hindi yun yung goal ko. Kung mapansin ako at bigyan ako ng parangal, bonus na lang yun. Ang importante sa akin, tama si Derek yung green light ng next project yun yung kumbaga reward sa akin na kinukuha pa rin ako. So far naman, at nagtataka din ako, wala naman tigil, wala pang time na nabakante ako simula nung nag-artista ako. Siguro naghahanap din kasi ako ng proyekto, parang katulad ng sinabi ni Derek, kahit cellphone lang mag-shoot siya ako, kahit sa entabladong 2 audience lang magpe-perform ako. Kahit student film lang, to be honest, hanggang ngayon gumagawa pa ako ng mga student film, ng mga short films, ng mga regional films. Ako pa pumupunta sa Mindanao para tulungan sila at ang laking bagay kasi yung pagpunta ko doon na motivate yung filmmaker na wala nang ang bayad, ako pa yung pumunta doon, ako pa yung tulong kami. Motivate mga filmmaker na mga regional yun isa hindi ko masabing sikreto kumbaga yung yung ko lang at pamahal sa ginagawa.
Ayun. Yun lang talaga yung passion talaga at pagmamahal.
Oo pagka may passion iba kahit hindi naman sa pag-arte, kahit naman sa anong trabaho. Nila yung nagawa nila. Yun magsasi.
Rafi, any final questions before we close?
Yes, kasi napansin ko na both of our guests are very passionate. With Direk Mick, his passion lies towards filmmaking, and with Sermon, his passion lies towards acting. So let me twist the question up a bit. Tell me po, or tell us rather, about a time wherein both of you had almost, if not wanted to give up in any of the parts or timelines of the journey that you've had in your respective industries or respective careers?
Thank you for that wonderful question. Sino gustong first?
Baka na ako kasi sa akin wala masyado never dumaan sa isip ko na mag-give up. Sabi ko nga kanina, kung walang project, art ako. Niyaya ko yung filmmaker, collab tayo. Wala akong bayad. Gawin natin. Maghihila pa ako ng mga kaibigan kong actors kung pwede. Mas mas aggressive ako na gawin kesa doon sa sa umaya. Never ko naisip na umayaw kahit minsan.
Kayo naman, Direk.
Ako siguro syempre you go through that feeling na parang you want to give up. Hindi mo maiwasan yan. Ang daming times like kunyari sa recorder, siguro isang amateur mistake ko doon. Syempre coming from short films na yung budget ko for a short film nasa 10 to 20,000 nung time na yun. Mga mini DV camera pa yun eh. So parang nung inisip ko full length, kaya ko yan ng 100 kasi yung short film ko, ito yung budget, multiply ko lang yung running time, di ba? So sobrang bad estimate yun. Like ako pa yung type na syempre wala ka pang experience eh. So hindi mo alam gaano katagal i-mount itong isang scene, di ba? When you're reading the script, parang kaya ko yan 3 hours. Yun, all over the place yung schedule, over budget, tapos yung intention na 10 days naging 13. So there was a point na munti ka na kami mag-withdraw. Ginawa ko talagang, syempre, pinasok ko na sarili kong savings doon and then nanlimos na lang ako sa high school friend ko, tumulong. Hanggang ngayon, isa sa mga closest friends ko, kaya lagi siyang may VIP seat kahit anong premiere. Kasi yung very first film ko, kahit konti lang yung binigay niya, tumulong siya. Mga high school friends ko, nag-reach out kami for sponsorships, kahit isang lens, isang camera. Yung mga cinematographer nga namin, iba-iba eh, per day, pang sino lang available. Yung ganun ka shoestring budget talaga. I mean, alam niyo naman, even with the Cinemalaya grant, hindi naman yung binibigay na isang buo. In fact, yung last part nun, after the film na. So parang with that seed first tranche, kailangan matapos mo yung film. So, ang daming times. Pero yun nga eh, it's yung, ewan ko, yung willpower talaga, not to give up. And siguro, ako rin yung type na kung malapit na mag-give up, gagawa ang paraan na parang malagay ko sa sarili, baka unhealthy to, pero it helps me, motivates me. Lalagay ko sarili ko sa isang corner and minsan may kailangan gawin drastic to make sure wala na akong choice. Parang do or die moment. Kunyari lang, nahihirapan ako i-balance dati yung short films ko and honestly, yung school life. And siguro na-frustrate rin ako kasi first year of college, puro basic subjects pa, ganun. And gusto ko na, atat na ako gumawa films. Noong time na yun, kasi fourth year high school ako, nakapag film festival na ako in Germany, gumawa na akong shorts, ganun. So, nung nag-communications ako sa Ateneo, hindi kasi straight to practice yun eh. Hard decision siya for me. Parang inisip ko, if I don't recommend this for everyone, no? Pero inisip ko, if I drop out, ma-force ako to make films. Kasi, ano pa ba gagawin ko? Diba? Hindi naman pwede mag-bomb. Siyempre, gusto ko ma-sustain ko rin sa'yo ko financially. I mean, middle class lang naman. Kahit pa paano privilege ako na, my dad nasa arts rin. Pero artist rin siya eh. I mean, hindi niya rin tinodo yung parang commercial potential niya eh. So parang, in a way, middle class pa rin kami and I know na I had to make this a job, no? Na hindi pwedeng expensive hobby lang ng film. So, by dropping out, parang hard decision siya, umiyak pa ako sa parents ko. By dropping out, mapipilitan ako na kailangan ko gumawa ng short film every few months. And kailangan something happens to that film. Diba? I have to get a big break. So yun, parang minsan ginagawa ko yun. Siguro, nakakatawang example to, sa Dark Knight Rises. Yung walang nakakaalis sa prison kasi kailangan ko putulin yung safety cord to make the jump. Parang yun yung ginawa ko. Pinutol ko yung cord para wala akong choice. Kailangan mag-succeed to or lagot ako. So, yun, parang minsan pag may situation na malapit na mag-give up, hanap po ang paraan na gano'n. Parang tatanggalin ko yung plan B para no choice but to give it your all. So, yun yung isa kong ginawa. And puti na lang, nag-pay off. Pero yun, hindi yun for everyone. Siguro depende sa parang attitude mo and environment mo and situation mo. No? Pero ako yun, I like to push myself to make sure I finish and parang dedication lang talaga.
All right. So Direk and Sir Mon, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Good luck sa Tokyo. Yan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sayang, Direk, hindi tayo maka-attend sa Tokyo International Film Fest eh, no?
Right now,
Higpit ngayon
sobrang
mga
strict
biyahe,
ng Japan sa Philippines.
Yes, sobrang
pero,
strict.
no?
pero may physical screening. So, in-person pa rin yung festival. Pero unfortunately, baka hindi kami maka-attend. Online lang namin gig. Pero,
Kahit ikaw ba, Direk?
ako
Kahit
hindi
ikaw,
na rin.
hindi ka ba tutuloy?
Tayo nga may Japan visa. Ready na and everything. I mean, from multiple entry sayang naka-ready na. Pero yun strict, and then may 2-week quarantines pa. So we'll see baka next year. Pero yun, I encourage siguro lahat ng Filipino community doon sa Japan to watch our physical screenings. And for the local audience naman, sayang di lang umabot ng podcast, pero by November may announcements kami of paano nyo mapapanood yung RSM and when.
Yes.
Very good. Payabangan namin yan. And other than Arisaka, do you guys have any other projects na gusto niyong i-promote dito?
Man.
Yes. Well, hindi. Siyempre, yung Arisaka, excited kaming lahat. Sana magkaroon na rin ng, hindi ko alam kung paano natin papalabas yan direct, pero alam ko, meron ka na eh.
Meron yan.
Venue
I-announce
ka
na
na
lang. Pero may
Hindi pa lang
official
pwedeng
date.
i-announce eh. Yes. Well, sana yung mga kababayan natin suportahan itong Arisaka. Isa to sa halos napanood ko naman lahat ng pelikula ni Direk Mikhail. Itong isa sa paborito ko. Sobrang excited ako dito. Kasi sabi nga niya, genre niya to favorite genre niya, Western. So, sana suportahan niyo po, starring Maha Salvador, produced by 1070p Productions. At sana pagdasal nyo rin na mapansin tayo sa competition ng Tokyo International Film Festival para naman yung mga Pilipino ma-motivate.
Oo nga.
Maraming salamat for having us dito sa inyong masayang interview. Thank you so much.
May kinilig dito. Yes.
Opo. Sir, Mong, feeling ko nakita niyo na ako dati. Lagi ko po nakikita Ay, lagi ko po nakikita sa festivals. Naya lang akong lumapit.
Oh,
Ako rin.
Maganda sa malayo.
Sa malayo.
Oo.
Sa ibang
May
floor.
picture tayo pero kasi ginantihan ako nung nagpa-picture ako dun sa guy na yun. Kasi malabo yung kuha ko sa isang photo niya. So gumanti siya nung nagpa-picture po.
malabo rin yung
Malabo
picture
rin
na
kayo.
yun. Ayun naman. Bale,
Yeah.
malapit na ulit tayo magkita-kita.
Yeah.
Nararamdaman ko na.
Hopefully. Yan. Fingers crossed.
Yes,
Ah,
yes.
Oo. And I guess pa-close joke question na pang-close. Ayan, direct sa pelikula mong Dead Kids. Bakit hindi na sila nakipagbatuhan ng lines? Yan.
Oh.
Okay.
Bakit?
Parang ayaw mo at gusto mo
Hindi ko
sa
alam
tayo ni Direk.
Bakit di na?
Tatanungin ko kapatid ko. Yung ibang lines doon, sinis.
Talaga. Yun lang.
Pero nakita ko nga, may meme rin yun. Parang gusto lang ni Su makipagbatuhan.
Yung lines. Tayo batuhan ng lines.
Gusto niya lang na normal high school life. Pero sila, kung ano plano nila.
Ayan. So again, thank you again so much to the both of you. Good luck sa Tokyo and to all of our viewers no? Hindi listeners na rin.
Listeners.
Tsaka may listeners.
Our 4
din.
listeners.
Our 4 listeners.
Ay,
Grabe
tayo lang
kayo.
din.
Tapos puro kamag-anak. Ayun. So marami pa kaming mga ganitong klaseng episodes na
Yes.
probably every Wednesday. We have a few planned pero hindi ko sasabihin para hindi ma-jinx. Pero very big films na coming up soon.
Congratulations.
Yun.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Pilot ba to? Pilot?
Ano po, hindi
Pilot.
naman.
Hindi
Parang
naman.
pilot lang ng ganitong
Parang episode 100
Every
something na to.
120, every
Marami na
Wednesday.
po kami episodes.
130 something na tayo.
Wow.
Episode.
Ayun.
Pero hindi, for the every Wednesday. Kasi dati, kalat-kalat kami. Kasi
Kalat-kalat yung
lima lang
episode
listeners
namin.
namin.
Pang every Wednesday nga. Kumbaga.
Apo.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, pumayag yung iba.
Tapos ginawang Thursday, no? So, paiba-iba pa.
Oo.
Ganun po
Wala
talaga
rin.
kami.
Oo.
So,
Pero kami po ang kauna-unahang yes, tayo ganun.
Ganon.
Podcast sa Pilipinas.
I guess yun nga. Ayan.
Kaya binabantay sa kung saan-saan.
Ako sa lingkit-kit lang talaga ako.
Ayun, anyways.
Ayan pala, may may nag-comment si Victor Villanueva, friend of
Yes.
the podcast.
Yes.
Hi Vic. Tanong
Hi.
niya, Arisaka anime when? Kailan daw yung Arisaka?
Ayan.
May opening
Vic.
song ba yan? Yung
Hello, Vic.
Arisaka.
Oh, may OBD yan. Anime.
Fan daw siya ni Mon. Kasi
Oh,
alam mo
idol.
namang fan ka naman daw talaga niya, Mick. So, sinabi niya doon sa
Promote ko rin yung HBO Half-Worlds next year.
Ay, oo.
Uy,
Lalabas.
Half-Worlds,
Mini-series. Si Victor Villanueva, yan. May dinirect rin na Seeds. Second unit
Wow.
director siya. So may Seeds rin siya.
Nice.
So ano
nice.
yun, mga Encanto at War, tapos parang
Ayun, galing.
Underworld, urban
Wow.
sa Manila, Philippines.
HBO yan, direct HBO.
Sa HBO. Pero next
HBO.
year, ngayon post pa kami yung bigat rin.
Okay.
Yes, may ginawa rin kami ni Direk Eric
Yeah,
Matis.
folklore.
Folklore, yes.
kasama po kasi
7 Days of
folklore.
Hell, directed by
Ah.
Eric Mati.
Yung folklore, kailan? Mauuna kayo, di ba? Ang early.
Wala pa hindi ako updated. Pero malapit na rin yun kasi matagal-tagal na nang na-shoot yun eh.
Nung nanood daw on the job 2 sa reality, nakita ko yung folklore parang nadaanan ko lang, in-edit, nakita ko. So exciting rin, looking forward to it.
Wow.
Yes.
Lots to look
Galing.
forward to sa 2022. Yan. Abangan natin yan, HBO. So, ayan guys, good night. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you for
much.
having us.
Thank you.
Yun.
Sana nag-enjoy kayo.
Nag-enjoy kami.
Yes.
Kayo din.
Sana kayo din.
Sana kayo din.
Ayun.
Kayo rin.
Yes, of course.
Ayun.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Direk.
Thank you. See you,
Thank
Mon.
you,
See you soon.
Direk.
Ano tayo?
Yes, see you, Direk.
Screening tayo.
Yes,
Sige.
screening na
Bye.
tayo.
All right, guys.
Stay
Thank
safe
you.
po.
Stay safe, ha. Stay safe.
Safe.
Stay safe. Salamat.